Hi, I'm Danielle. Welcome to In Talks With. In this episode, my guest is the artist Ghada Amer. Born in Cairo, she moved to France in the 70s and studied to become an artist. Frustrated with the limitations she encountered imposed on women trying to break through into the art world, she developed a body of work directly confronting the issue, in particular attracting attention for her work of exquisitely embroidered pieces exploring female sexuality. Over the years, she's built up a terrifically successful body of work, exhibiting all over the world, including at the Venice Biennale, where she received the UNESCO Prize. She currently lives and works between Paris and New York, from where she joined me online, ahead of her retrospective at MUCEM in Marseille, which will showcase work from across her career, as well as a new site-specific garden sculpture. What were you doing in Cairo? Do you still have family there?
Yeah, I was visiting my mom, and I'm producing a piece as well for my retrospective in Marseille. So I have been thank God, after 2 years, I'm finishing that.
I've heard about this retrospective. It sounds pretty major.
It is.
Why are you happy? Why are you happy that it's nearly the end is in sight?
Because it has been 2 years I've been working on it. It's an old piece, and I'm doing my my edition, my AP, because one of the museums didn't want to lend, and it was too complicated to get the other pieces. So I decided to produce my AP. And I started this 2 years ago, and then my mom got sick, and then it was complicated. So it was a nightmare, but it's finished. It's beautiful. I'm happy.
Oh, that's good to hear. And I hope your mother is better as well.
Yeah, and my mom is better, so it's perfect.
So the retrospective, that's over 3 locations in Marseille.
Yes, it is in 3 locations, and it opens December 1st.
Okay. And what are the 3 different locations?
Okay, one location is at the MUCEM itself, but it's at the GHR, which is like in the old part of the fort, because there's a new part and an old part. So my location is it's a smaller space, and it's old. It's the old fort, Fort Saint-Jean. And I am doing a show like there. It's one part of the show, which is called East and West. So it's my relationship with my with the Orient, if you will, with Egypt. So Egypt and France, because the museum is a museum of civilization that deals with the Mediterranean. And then I'm producing a new garden sculpture, my first garden sculpture in Arabic. I'm producing it outside as well of the fort, but inside the museum space, but outdoors. Then I have a show in the Vieille Charité with new sculpture that I'm producing in Korea, that I'm shipping, and the brand new sculpture, bronzes, very big size. And in the same time, we are showing the some ceramics, abstract ceramics. And then in the FRAC, it's a show called Witches and Bitches. And it's about the aspect of feminism in my work.
Stitches and bitches, or witches and bitches. Witches
and bitches.
It could be stitches with you as well.
No, but it's better witches.
So I had a few questions about all of that. First of all, with the site-specific piece for the garden, what is the text?
The text is in Arabic, Sautul Mar'a Thawra, which means the voice of woman is revolution. And it's coming from a sentence that I just changed. It's not me who changed it. I read it actually in a post after this Arab Spring, where they changed the one letter because usually we say Sautul Mar'a Awra, which means the voice of the woman is shameful. So by changing just one letter, it becomes revolution. So I really was very impressed by this post. So I took this sentence and I'm doing it in the garden.
And why did you feel that you should put it in Arabic and not in French?
Because it's the whole point is this play on words. So in French, the voice of woman is revolution is okay, but it doesn't say something. It's very clear for me that I am. Everybody is going to recognize if you are an Arab speaker, you're going to recognize the first, which is a shame. So you're going to be a little bit. So this is why I wanted this. So it had to be in Arabic.
And why the witches and bitches? Which sounds sort of irreverent and a bit humorous.
It is. Witches and Bitches it's actually a collaboration drawing that I've done with Reza, my partner, with Reza Farkhande, with whom I have been doing a lot of collaboration. And he's the one who gave the title for this for a piece that we have done together. Actually, a long time ago, maybe 2011 or something like this. So the curator saw the piece and then she loved the title, and it was a perfect title for feminism, and especially for France as well, where they have like a little bit like, okay, these witches or bitches, this feminism, it's the same. So we thought it would be great to use it. We asked Reza if we can use it as a title of my whole show, and he agreed, so we took it.
It's really cool. I love it. Do you feel like being humorous about these serious subjects helps draw people towards them?
Yes, I think humor anyway, it makes things a little bit more bearable, even for oneself. Not only for people, for myself. I like the witch and bitch. I don't mind.
I was lucky enough to attend your show at the Goodman Gallery in London earlier this year. How did you feel it went?
I don't know because London or England is not my turf, if you want. So I don't know who was really there and who was not. I liked my show. I was very happy with my show. I thought it was a beautiful show. I don't know. I was happy. I think it was a good show.
It felt really pertinent that you had the piece, My Body, My Choice, on the floor as you entered the space. I think it was in May this year, and it was when the document was leaked to the US government about the Roe v. Wade being overturned. So it felt especially relevant at that moment. Why did you choose to have those words that show them in that way, which was sort of flowers and plants on the floor, like growing up out of the ground almost?
Yeah. First, I always have, and I am using feminist quotes, and I say quotes because I don't want to use something that I write, because I think nothing is new. Like My Body, My Choice, this is an old, very old saying that refers to things, to a very specific moment, which is we are reliving again. And I know because I have lived this in my youth. I know that we can go backward, we can lose rights. I know that in the West it's hard to imagine that one can lose right, or one can become poor, or can become a third world country. But believe me, everybody can. Everybody, if you don't fight for what you have, you will lose it. So when I choose to use quotes, it means that these things have existed before, and we ought never to forget this. We have to remember all the time so that we don't lose what the people before have fought for, and then we have to continue the fight and even bring it forward. So that's the reason that I chose all of my quotes, including My Body, My Choice. My Body, My Choice is a quote that is like it's a no-brainer. When I saw it, I saw it, I was like, okay, this is one of my quotes because it resonates. And it's funny enough that it is exactly when I did it. It was, and then when the document leaks, it was exactly exactly what I am intending. So I was like, wow, it was a little bit spooky for me because I thought I will, like, I'm saying this, but I will never see it myself. But I was like, oh, wow. So I was happy in a way.
It was witches behave. You had a witch's premonition.
Yeah, exactly. This is what witches can do. And now you will see the beach side.
I think I would like to see that side come out.
Oh yeah, it will. Yeah.
I mean, in a way, they're seeing this, and of course, since then, the Roe v. Wade has been overturned. It wasn't exactly surprising when it happened, even though it was appalling and shocking. Do you think that, just to your point of saying how it's important not to take these things lying down and that we need to fight for our rights, do you feel that this will galvanize a younger generation of artists to do, as you've done, to incorporate these feminist themes in their work?
I mean, no, I don't know. Every artist is inspired by whatever is good for them. They don't need to be inspired by some kind of political statement. I am inspired by that, but this is my personal story. I don't think that all art should be, like it depends on the artist. They should never. No one should dictate what an artist has to do or not. Because the artist doesn't work for any government or any issue or any. I don't work for any government, and nobody works for anybody. I work for myself, and I just speak what I see or what hurts me or what I want. It's very personal.
Do you have younger artists getting in touch with you and asking you about these things, though? Because they must. I mean, a lot of people hold you up, sort of revere you for what you do in this area.
The young artist wants me to look at their portfolio, which I'm not like. I don't do. Only I don't, because I'm not. First, I don't have time. I really don't have time, and it's not because you look at somebody's portfolio that you're going to be of some kind of help. And even when I go to schools, I never like to do to go to see artists' studio. I think I don't believe in that. If I do something, I want to teach something. I want to teach for 6 months or a month. But just to go and see people's studio like this, young artists, I think it's sometimes it's very dangerous. They are very sensitive. I don't know them. Maybe I will say something that would block them. So it's always. And they are very afraid, so it's very painful for me to do this, so I don't do this.
And have you done any residencies where you've done that 6 months?
Yeah, I've done one in North Carolina, and I've done some residency shorter ones, 1 month, 3 months in Wellesley College. I like to do this. I would like to work with. I have another one planned for Indianapolis. I like to work with young people. I think working with young people is a different. And then I can look at their work, and then they can look at my work, and then it's kind of like a two-way ticket. It's not only me who has the knowledge. No, I don't like.
And do you focus mainly on discussions? Is it discursive or is it practical, where you're creating artwork?
What I like in the residency is to create artwork. The student helps me, and then through this we can have a dialogue. I think this is. I'm not there to just teach. The teaching has to be by example, and they have an example of being an artist. How an artist does. It's like in reality how they create the artwork. How does it work? I think this is a much more interesting teaching. In an art school. I
know this is something that's you've spoken about a lot, but just the techniques you use, so embroidery. I wanted just to hear you talk a bit about that.
When I wanted to study art, actually, first my parents didn't even want me to study art, so I studied it, and I wanted to become a painter. And so this was in France in the 80s. And then I had in our school that there was a teacher that didn't believe that the woman should just take painting, because I think he didn't believe that women will be painters, so it's a waste of time. So he would only accept in his class male students. And I was pretty shocked, because I was coming from Egypt, and I thought, okay, they had problem with women, so, but they never had a problem with women's brain. They only had a problem with women's bodies. So in Cairo, the body was a problem, and in France, I thought, okay, so it's the brain who is a problem. So anyway, I was pretty shocked and upset, because I thought, oh, okay, the Western people are advanced. They don't have any problem with I thought it was the body. I never thought the problem was with the brain as well. Anyway, so I was not allowed to go to take painting class. And so I went to the library instead, and I asked, so it was the first time I said, like, okay, what does he mean? Like, it's only men who can paint? So I asked the librarian to give me a book with more women artists inside, in the history book that we are using, because I was looking at the history book, I only found men, and I never realized that I didn't even know that I was flipping through a book with only men. I have never thought about the gender in whatever we were taught. So I asked her, so where are the women? She told me, I need a book with more women in it. And then she told me, no, but we don't have, it doesn't exist. This was in the 80s, and it didn't exist, at least in France, I don't know, in an art history book, that is taught to teach in universities and in schools. And I thought, no, I'm sure it exists. I'm sure it's impossible that all the art history, there's no woman. And then she said, yes, you're right. And then we looked at all of the books that were in the library, that we found none. So I was double shocked, because I was like, okay, all this time I've been brainwashed, all of this, these years, they taught us history, and it was only history of men. And this was a big shock for me, more than even being denied to go to arts, to the class. So I've been thinking, so I had to go to a drawing class, and this thing had haunted me for all the time, like really a very painful experience, where as a woman, in my origin country, I'm fighting with my body like this, that is a shame, or it's some problem, or I have to hide it, or I don't know what to do with it. And then in the Western country, now I have to fight with my brain. What is it useful for? So I felt really nobody, like this feel of defeating. And then I said, no, I cannot be defeated. I have to do something about it, because it was just too painful. So I said, okay, if we were denied to paint, I will paint with whatever we are allowed to do, or whatever this society is allowing us to do, which is a needle and a thread. And I did my first, it's only in 1991 that I did my first, because it took me a long time to just go through this and process the whole thing. And actually I wanted to quit art altogether, because it was not just, it was not good. I didn't like the way it was. But then I made my first my painting, that I call it one of the most important painting I've done, which is called 5 Women at Work. And it's a quadriptych showing 4 women making, being at home, attending children, making the cooking, all of this. And the 5th one is me embroidering them. So I decided that I'm going to work towards telling this story and making this into something that everybody should know and everybody should fight for.
What do you think about this trend for showcasing female artists now? There's been a big sort of I think it's really since the whole Me Too movement that there's been this, there's been a wave of retrospectively looking at female artists, whether it's like Lee Krasner, who had a big show at the Barbican, and even the National Gallery did an Artemisia Gentileschi show last year, I think. Do you just think that's token? Do you think it's a good thing, or do you think it's sort of just sort of tokenism?
Well, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing, actually. Of course, it's with the tokenism. These two things come together. There is no. I hope that just like it will balance it out after a while. We haven't seen any woman artist for years, for decades, for centuries. So we can as well have some like a couple of, at least. I want to see books with especially with old masters, female old masters. I want to see this inside the art schools. I want to have this discussed. We still have a long way to go. It's not because there is shows about women that we are going, that it is the fight is over, and it's not. Even if you put one only shows, we need to have another, like for example, like why women artists, they sell less than and so this, if it's not gonna change, it's as well not, you can make 1,000 million show, it's useless. As well, why the woman should buy art. They should have a collection. They should be rich. They should and make a decision and make things change, and not use husband's money to buy their art or to buy for the husband, and not only the husband just decide of only his taste. Because a lot of these things as well, it's the sponsor, it's the board, it's like whatever this artsy or whatever this they make you like in a chart like singers. I hate that. Of like who is the best, the 50 best, I don't know what, the 100 best, like what is it, the top selling, whatever, like this kind of pop music.
Like charts.
Yeah, charts. I hate it. So, and who is doing this, and why are they doing this? It's only about money. It's only about selling, and always it's the woman. They come the last.
So it's almost like some sort of positive discrimination can be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not discrimination. It's not because it's like Lee Krasner is a great artist. Why shouldn't be like the same? It's not. She should be shown like Pollock, or like she should have been shown a long time ago. You know what I mean? So now because we see this and this and this, and then they're starting to freak out. Oh my God, the women are taking over. Yes.
I mean, I think one thing with your work that struck me when I saw it in person was how it draws you in for a second look. So when I first walked into the gallery, I was struck by a room full of aesthetically beautiful pieces that anyone would love to have hanging in their space, in their gallery or at their home. And it wasn't until I did a few passes around and started to really look closely at some of these pieces that I really started to see the detail, the intricacy, the efforts that had gone into it, whether it was the embroidery. And then one of those pieces was a sculpture, it was a freestanding, like a bust of a woman in a flat sort of two-dimensional, made from maybe like a metal filament of some kind. And you could see bronze, and you could see through it because it was done in such a fine filament. So tell me about that sculpture.
No, I want to tell you more about the whole sculpture situation.
Tell me.
Because this is something that is very new in my work, and I fell in love with sculpture, and I was like, I am a painter, and it was like, for me, this painting, like I am upset all the time. I'm upset when I paint. It's always remind me of this, and it's very upsetting. But I do it because it's important for me to do it, and to always be upset. This is important, at least in my painting.
But what's making you upset? Upset about life in general, the world?
No, it's about the status of women, and then I couldn't paint, and this is always upsetting me, and I just so for me and I will always say it until my death. I think, like for this because we cannot forget, and we cannot snooze like all of this. But in the same time, it's very difficult it's always like there's something missing as well in this. So I'm upset. I do the painting, and they are beautiful, and whatever. I mean, now they are beautiful. Before nobody was interested, but whatever. But then when I came to sculpture, which was like a big story, but when I came to sculpture, I found like, oh my God, I'm very interested in this. And then all of my anger, although sculpture is very masculine, but for me, I didn't have the same anger. So I could look at these, practice, especially when I started ceramic more, like I wanted to start ceramic to do my sculpture. And I started ceramic, and I started to paint with ceramic. My ceramic is very painterly, and I didn't use any thread, and I was happy. It was really like the moment of the freedom in a way. I'm free from this anger and free. So for me, the sculpture in a way are this expression of it's the other side of me just being an artist without having to just have a grudge against somebody. I am a woman. I'm an artist. I'm doing whatever I want, and so it's this aspect. That's why sculpture for me is very important in this sense.
So it's sort of free of the other emotions that you brought to the other work. So it's almost like Ghada Amer liberated.
It's kind of
emotionally liberated. I like that.
Yes. So I that's why.
And where can I see these sculptures?
Well, you have some. There is, I know, Lisa, like Goodman Gallery has some of the ceramic. Kivinik has this, a lot of this. They supported me the ceramics, and then then I did like those. I mean, the flat woman, they come from these big eggs that I've done in bronze. And then now I'm doing like for Vieille Charité, I'm doing all of this new body of work that uses women as well, but it's this, you will see. So that's it.
Fantastic. I'm going to go and have a look.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll end it there. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Taking the time to speaking to me. I really enjoyed the conversation. It's so nice to hear you speak about the ideas behind your work. You've been listening to In Talks with me, Danielle Redoitjen. The sound and theme music is by Woogie Productions, and the artwork is by Patrick Waugh. If you enjoyed this episode, please pass it on to someone who you think might also like it. Please subscribe and leave a review. To pitch for guest ideas, you can DM me via my socials at Danielle Redoitjen. Thanks for listening.